Hi, this is Andrea Winfrey from Tobii Dynavox. I am a pediatric solutions consultant based out of St. Louis. And I wanted to make a quick video to share a few of my favorite early interactive activities for kiddos who are using Eyegaze on our i13 and i16 devices. So you'll see right now we're in the TD Snap app on the Core First page set. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a tour of some of the things that I'd encourage you to check out for your early learner or for your kiddo who is interested in accessing some games and even computer applications on this device. So first things first, let's go to the dashboard page of Core First. Right now I'm using a combination of mouse and Eyegaze access. So I'll toggle over to Eyegaze pretty soon so you can get a good feel for what that is going to look like. So on your dashboard, one of the first things that I tend to point people to is the integrated board maker activities into TD Snap. And do know that in order to access these activities, you need to be logged into a My Tobii Dynavox account. So if you have not yet done that, you'll go up in the top right corner to Edit, User, and then you'll log into your My Tobii Dynavox account. If you don't yet have an account, you'll have an option here to create a My Tobii Dynavox account and then log in. So once you've done that, you'll click Done to go back out into Run mode. And then let's go into the board maker activities. There's a lot to explore here, so I'm not going to show you everything, but I'm going to show you a few of my favorite places to start. So when these activities load, some of my favorite places to go with a kiddo who's new to using Eyegaze or just needs some practice or needs some more accessible games and books is this games folder and the accessible bookshelf. So let's go into games first, and I'll show you a few of my favorites. Starting with the access games. Access has to do with how you are accessing content on the screen. And this target practice game allows you to customize how many targets you have in order to practice selecting icons of a particular size on the screen. So you can see right now I've set the icon to be a truck. I have a 5x5 grid, but these things are customizable in your settings. So let's say we want to set it to the gopher or the groundhog. I don't even know if those are different things. And let's say you're working with someone who uses a smaller grid size, so just a 2x2, and you wanted to get them some practice. Now I'll say go back. Now using Eyegaze, I'm able to select those buttons on the screen, and then it'll move around. So it allows you to potentially assess whether a kiddo is able to target icons of a particular size on the screen. You can make it timed. You can kind of turn it into a race. This can be a really fun interactive place to start. Now let me go back. And again, there is no prerequisite. So you don't need to start with activities like this before you head into communicating with the device. These activities can just be a nice kind of supplement and also a nice starting point for kiddos who maybe don't have a ton of motivation to interact with the device at first, and you'd like a really dynamic, motivating place to start. So we talked a bit about those access games. Let me show you one of my favorite emergent games in that folder. Lots of different options here, and there are more that you can load. There's just a simple bubble wrap popping game. I like this one, What's in the Garden? And in this game, when you look at those different brightly colored circles, it uncovers what's underneath, and it plays a fun sound effect. So it's sort of like a little, just a little fun cause and effect kind of peekaboo type game. So again, I would encourage you to check out under board maker activities and games, both those emergent and access games. And then let me give you a little preview of the accessible bookshelf under Boardmaker activities too. So lots of accessible books here. Many of them are very tied into using core vocabulary. So they use a high frequency of core words. And one of my favorites to start with is Go, Go, Go. So when you go into these books, you'll notice that you have the ability to use Eyegaze to read the book aloud and to turn the page. And then you can quickly toggle back and forth between your communication pages and your Boardmaker activities. So you'll notice over in your toolbar on the left, you could go into core words and find go, go, and then use your toolbar to go back into your Boardmaker activity and keep reading your book. So again, just one example of a bunch of accessible activities under Boardmaker activities here in your dashboard. Now, I wanted to give you a few more ideas as well of some other applications that are compatible with the i13 and i16 outside of TD Snap. So I'm now going to go to this Launch Application button. And I'm going to show you a few things in Communicator, in TD Control, which allows you to use Eyegaze to control anything in the Windows environment, and then the Sensory IFX platform. So I'm going to start with Communicator. So I'm using Eyegaze. I'm going to select that button, Communicator 5. And what that did was minimize TD Snap and launch the Communicator 5 software, which is just another proprietary Tobii Dynavox software platform. I have my communicator set to an emergent user area that has a bunch more games. So you can see more bubble wrap here, and then some other options for fun interactive games. Again, a What's in My Garden. So some of these are very similar to the Boardmaker activities we've already looked at. But there are some others like these more scene-based games that we haven't looked at yet. So let's go into that ocean game. And now when I select the different fish, they're going to magnify, and I get, again, a fun kind of auditory effect there. So simple cause and effect can work on teaching access to the device and teaching that concept that when I look at a particular item on the page for a certain amount of time, something fun happens. So I'm going to close out of that. So again, I would encourage you to take a look at these activities in Communicator as well. Another one of my favorites is anything that gives accessible or that provides access to music, I think is really wonderful. So on this xylophone activity, when I look at the different, what is that called? Is that a key? Maybe it's a key on a xylophone. So you hear the different tones. So that might be a fun way to help your communicator participate in a music class. And I'm going to go ahead and toggle back out of that activity now. So again, this is just kind of a teaser of lots of things for you to think about and to play with on your own to determine what you think might be most helpful for the kiddo that you're working with. And then the other thing I wanted to show you in Communicator is I added this gaze point tool to my home screen. And this is going to allow me to use Eyegaze to access the Windows environment using a simple left click function. So I'm going to what I did before this was just load Ginger Tiger. So this is not Tobii Dynavox software. It's just a website that I have a free trial to. So this is just meant to demonstrate using that gaze point tool to access other things outside of Tobii Dynavox software. So you could use this on any website. So I now have this set up to just respond to my gaze. It's going to left click when I look at something for a particular period of time. I want to play this touch and go game. So you can see when I look around the screen, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. And when I look at one of these vehicles for long enough, and you can customize how long, they're going to move along the road. So again, really simple interface here. It just gives you a couple of mouse functions here. So you can turn the click off if you want to. You can show the mouse cursor or not, and you can pause. You can also minimize this so it doesn't get in the way of other things that you're doing on the screen. So let's go back into there, into Communicator. So again, what we talked about in Communicator is some of these emergent activities, and then using Gaze Point for Windows access. I'm going to toggle back to Snap now. So this is kind of my launching point for these different programs. And what I'd love to show you now is TD Control. So kind of similar to Gaze Point, TD Control can give you access to anything in the Windows environment. And TD Control has a lot of different mouse functions that you can use. What I've done in this particular case is simplify the mouse function. So I'm in repeat click mode. So for many of our children who are using Eyegaze for computer access, we don't need every single mouse function. We don't necessarily need a right click and a drag and a scroll and a hold. We just need to be able to look at things and click on them. So I've simplified my TD Control menu to allow me to do that. So I'm now using Eyegaze again, going to select TD Control. So TD Control is now launched. I'm using my mouse to just go over back into that the web browser. And you'll see now my cursor looks a little bit different. But again, what it allows me to do is just look at items on the screen and click on them. Let's say I want to close out of that activity. That X is a little bit hard for me to get to. I'm going to use my mouse just for this demonstration. Let's say I want to just try one more thing. How about I don't know what this tidy up game is. Let's see. Again, this Ginger Tiger is not our software. This is just being used for demonstration purposes. All right, so tidy up. I'm guessing I need to take this and put it in the box. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think I need to drag. So this is a good example of certain activities and websites are going to require more than just a single click. So when I click on this using Eyegaze and try to put it in the box, nothing's happening. So I'm guessing I need to hold and drag. Yep. So now I'm using my mouse. So this is an example of why you might need down the road more mouse functions than just that left click. But some of these activities are very well suited for just using a simple click. All right, so that was a super quick intro to TD Control, which just like Gaze Point can be simplified for kids who are learning computer access to just provide a simple left click function for you to click and make choices in a web browser or in another Windows program. And then the final one that I wanted to show you, I'm going to close out of control here. The final program that I wanted to show you is Sensory IFX. And this program is loaded in a light version on our i13 and i16 devices, unless when you went through the funding process, you got the full version of the software funded by your insurance or Medicaid as an accessory to your device. So your version of Sensory IFX might look a little bit different from what I'm showing here. But our iSeries devices do come again with that light version that gives you access to one activity in each of the 5 levels. So we'll just kind of look at those really quick here. So again, if you have the light version in each of these levels, you'll see that one activity is available rather than all 6, but it still gives you a lot to work with. In Sensory IFX, you have these different levels that span a range of goals and abilities from simple cause and effect. So let's look at this moving snake activity in level 1. So anywhere I look on the screen, the cursor is going to move, and I'm going to get this really fun audio and visual effect. So again, we're establishing this concept of when I look on the screen, something fun happens, and we're teaching potentially a person to maybe access all the quadrants of the screen. So just an example of one of those simple cause and effect activities. And then let's go up several levels to kind of give you an example of a more advanced activity where you can incorporate some choice making, maybe even matching. So I love this splodge colors activity in level 4. It's essentially accessible painting. So accessible music, accessible painting. I'm all about giving access to creativity for people using Eyegaze. So in this activity, I can select a color using my eyes. And then when I look around the screen, it's going to paint with that color. All right, I'm done with orange. I'm going to go choose pink or purple. And looking around, when I look down at that menu down below, then it's going to change my color. And again, the possibilities are endless here. So you could work on finding a particular color, trying to draw a particular shape with your eyes on the screen. Then you can take screenshots of these and save them, print them, put them on the fridge. And then let me show you one more activity in Sensory IFX. So we looked at simple cause and effect. These are in levels 2 and 3 more related to targeting. So targeting items that are different sizes on the screen, potentially making some choices again. And then just kind of the concepts get more and more complex as you go up the levels. So in level 5, an example of that is playing memory with your eyes. So here, when I look at, okay, I want to find the other banana. Could it be under this card? Yay, that was lucky. Let's see what's here. I'm trying to find the other, is that a watermelon? Nope, that wasn't it. I think it's a yellow watermelon. Sorry for my running commentary here. So again, now you're teaching not only targeting with your eyes, but you're teaching, the concepts. Hooray! You're teaching the concepts of same and different and that type of thing. So again, this was the Sensory IFX platform. So let's go back into Snap and I'll kind of recap. So what we talked about in this video were some options built into TD Snap, the board maker activities. We looked at games and accessible books. And then we looked at other programs that can be used like Communicator 5, built-in games, and Gaze Point. We looked at TD Control for computer access, and then Sensory IFX for practicing eye gaze, access to creative type activities, and then higher level concepts like matching. All right. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg. So there is a lot of content available that is accessible with Eyegaze, but these are a few of my favorites. So please feel free to reach out with questions, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. Again, this is Andrea Winfrey, and you can reach me at 314-708-8652 or andrea.winfrey@tobydynavox.com. Thanks so much.